here's the food for thought segment of my article today. Noticed quite a few things. If you're not scoring 150, it doesn't seem like you have a shot for the week. So if you find yourself in that 134 to 140 range, it's very difficult to get a win with the way we are now set up. Again, and I'll reiterate this from past years, is that the SFL or the NFL has become quite injury prone. I don't know if it's the new rules. I don't know if these guys aren't maintaining themselves throughout the course of the season like they should be. But it seems like on any given time, half your team could be out. I've had 3 tight ends and all 3 were out at the same time, which is amazing. I go up and pick up a new defensive player and he's out now. So it's just amazing on the amount of injuries that occurred during the course of the year in the NFL. Other than that, obviously Gambler looks like the person to beat. Doesn't look like anyone's getting in his way to stop him for a championship this year. But anyone can be beaten on any given week. Swoosh is starting to slide up the standings quite well. He's on a 3-game winning streak. Mike has won, but and is back on up top on our division. But I don't see him being as powerful as he was in the past. And my dark horse is Ralph. Even though he's 5-3, his team has adequately scored points, and at the same time has fended off some high-scoring teams. So that's my take on it. If I were to say next week was a championship, I absolutely say that Gambler would be winning it. Ralph probably losing to him in the championship just by a slim margin, and that is my food for thought in week 6. Good luck the rest of the way out, guys, and we'll see you at the end. We're in the segment here of my article where if your team balled this week 6, you get the call. So Bob Gamble, owner-operator of Gambler, a.k.a. Gay-Ass Rambler, is getting the call. At the final day, Monday night, your team took over high points from Brian. He had 190 and you went past him at 196.4. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's talk about your team, right? I know you had a really good team, but is this what you expected from them?
No, it's not. I didn't expect to, have these consecutive wins in a row like this. I thought it would be good, but I didn't think it would be this good.
I have to agree with you. And I mean, just even your plug-in players, it's either really great timing for you, or they're just stepping up. And I know that Tarek Cohen, is starting to steal a lot of work from Jordan Howard. It's noticeable in the Bears' offense. Starting forward, and I don't think you expected that even. So, you're hot. You're the team to beat. You're 8-0. The only thing that you haven't had is a lot of points scored against you yet. So, but it doesn't seem to matter because you outscore everybody every week, regardless. I think you've won 4 or 5 weeks high point totals as it is.
I think it's 4.
4? Okay.
I think so.
Is that including week 6?
I believe so. Yeah, okay. I believe it's 4.
So 4 out of 6 weeks, man. I think I got 1. Yeah, I did get 1. I scored like 170 points or something in week 3.
And Phil got the other, I think.
Yeah, Phil got the other with 209 or something like that, where his team just went off the hook. So, what do you got to say for these this FSL league? Is there anything you want to tell them?
Well, listen, this is a league like no other. I mean, nobody does a fantasy football league like this. That's why I think it's so important to win, because you win on Sunday, it makes your Monday better. You go into work high stepping, like you feel great. Damn, I kicked ass this weekend, And then Tuesday comes, holy shit, this is great, So, it's a lot of fun, but I really want to go to the next level. I mean, I've been in the playoffs every year since I joined the league. Never been in the championship round. I mean, and this year my goal is to win. I mean, I said in my article, I'm out for blood. I want to win. I want to win. This is something I really, really want to get. And Mikey's been tough past 2 years in a row. If I even got there last year, he would have whooped my ass. I come back with almost the same team. Minus Jarvis Landry, my team is pretty much the same as last year. With adding Juju instead of him, I think is hopefully what's going to put me over the edge.
Yeah, it's looking really good. So who's your surprise this year?
Davante Adams by far is the biggest surprise. I mean, he's.
So now that we know that Davante Adams was your person that you're surprised about, who's the person who's underperforming for you, who you're wait, what's going on?
Definitely two players. I would say Hogan and Eckler. I expected more out of Hogan, sure. But Eckler, I can say along with that too. I mean, he's 10 points 1 week, 2 the next, 3 the next. I thought a little bit more from him. Hogan's been a big disappointment as well. I thought he would do a little bit better. I actually, for him, in Nunwa, but I think I came up, the better on that deal. But, I'm expecting a little bit more out of him. I mean, Patriots got a lot of weapons there. You would think he'd get some single coverage and get a few more passes.
Yeah, even with Josh Gordon coming there especially, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, so, I would say he's definitely my biggest, underachiever.
I agree. I think Tom Brady hasn't played at his peak performance this year either, and that might be causing some of the issues that you're seeing with Hogan. Not saying that he's not putting up points. He is putting up points. But the other night when I was watching that game, he had 137 through, 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden he lit it up in the fourth quarter. I mean, totally lit it up in the fourth quarter to where he actually gave you a decent sum of points.
Yeah, he seems to start out slow every year, and then a couple weeks go, and they figure out that they got to make some changes on offense. They always bring somebody in, and this year, in addition with Josh Gordon, I'm hoping big things from him.
Yeah,
he can put the pipe down and catch the ball. He's talented, so we'll see what happens.
I hear you, brother. Well, you balled and you got the call. Thanks for talking to us.
You got it, buddy.
Have a good one.
You too, man.
Later.
Bye.
That's my fire, right? The team fire. Dude, you scored 190 points last week. It wasn't from one guy, 2 guy. I think if I looked at your team lately, and I think it was 6, 7 guys that attributed to 25 points each. What do you think? What do you think about your team right now?
I mean, my team is super inconsistent. I mean, that was a great week. I'll take it. But, I only scored well in week 1 and 2, and ever since then, not so well. So I don't know what to expect from my team. I'm capable of scoring well, but, I don't know. It just doesn't always happen.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Or you get outscored by teams that just have blow-up weeks. You know what I mean? I think that happened to you in week 3 with me. I think that was the only week I won high points. I think I scored 170 points on you, even though I think you scored 143, which is pretty much the average. But my team happened to just blow up that week, which is.
Well, I'm sure Beaner feels that way because he scored pretty well this week too. And meanwhile, he's looking at me. I haven't scored shit in the past couple weeks, but this is fantasy football.
That's it, man. You never know what's going to happen. It's amazing.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about your team a little bit. Your quarterback. Who's your starting quarterback this year?
Well, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, and who could say anything more about? I mean, this guy, number one, he's leading, I think, the fantasy realm in fantasy points right now. Astronomical young cannon. you're going to be happy with him for years to come, I'm sure. And then you got his dynamic duo, which is Tyreek Hill. So your wide receivers, I'm thinking about the Thielen and Tyreek Hill, man. I mean, that's got to be the. I'm sure if you haven't looked, it's got to. You got to have the highest wide receiver ranking in the league.
Yeah, and I also have Alshon Jeffrey too.
Oh my, yeah. And he just came back and he slammed 24 points up there last week as well.
Yeah, but I tell you, as strong as in wide receiver, I'm weak at that week in running back. So, you know.
Well, if you think about it this way, we almost kind of started gearing ourselves. I mean, even with the NFL, I mean the quarterbacks aren't able to get hit as much, so therefore they're starting to sling the ball a lot more. So I mean, maybe, and I actually talked to another owner, Tom Kushner. Tom, I'm throwing you out there because I know that your whole strategy was it's not so much about the running back, but you were worried about wide receivers going into the draft, and I think that mentioned it on the last video. But like we're kind of starting to gear ourselves to where where wide receivers and tight ends are starting to get a little bit more value. They don't score as much as running backs, but if you get a tandem of two, which could cost as much, our league is starting to gear maybe towards the passing game than the running game. That being said, who's been your biggest surprise on your team this year?
I mean, I didn't expect Alshon Jeffrey to score as well as he did since he came back. I mean, I don't know if that's going to continue. He was strong last year too, but that was pretty surprising. I mean, Austin Hooper is doing well lately. I mean, I have a little tough time deciding on who to start on tight end, because Trey Burton is pretty decent too. I mean, I guess Tyreek Hill. I mean, Tyreek Hill was good. He just seems to be, a level above what he was last year even.
Yeah. And I would say I was thinking in my head too. I was actually going to go after Austin Hooper on you because you weren't putting him in your lineup, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I could sneak him on a sly somehow because I was hurting the tight end. I had 3 tight ends out, but after that he blew up and there was no chance of me getting him because he realized I started starting him. But to me, the biggest surprise on your team. I mean, I didn't expect Patrick Mahomes to go off the way he's. Yeah. I mean, he's right now, bar none, the top fantasy football quarterback in the league, right. Bar none. So,
and I got him pretty cheap too.
Yeah,
and pretty far down in the draft. So, well, no, he was my third pick. I guess he was my first pick after the rookie draft. But for only $16, I did super there.
When $16 gets you the most points in fantasy football through week 6, that's saying something. So. Yeah.
I'll try not to bring up what I paid for Alex Collins.
Yeah, don't bring that up, 52. I mean, don't bring that up. I remembered. I'm like, wow, Alex Collins, 52. Who's been your biggest disappointment this year?
Alex Collins, maybe. I mean, he was the best running back out there at the time in the draft. I was so weak. I had to overpay. I still hoped he would do a little bit better. I mean, I haven't needed Mariota, but he hasn't done much either. Other than that, I don't think I really have had too many disappointments.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, thinking the thought process, right, you kind of balked on Melvin Gordon in the draft. At 66, it almost makes sense. You probably look back and you probably go, you know what, for 66, I should have taken Melvin Gordon.
Yeah. Right, but you always think, I'll be able to get Collins maybe, 40 or 40-something. So, whatever. Sometimes it doesn't work out too great. That's
all right. Let me tell you something, Brian. I know that your team is kind of on and off, but when they click, obviously, as you can tell from this past week, you can do some serious damage in this league. So,
Fire is going to come back. Take Chief and Evil out pretty soon, and then vie for the championship.
All right, so Brian, here it is, man. You got your shot. You got 190 this week. Let's see what you do the following week coming up here. And I wish you luck, and we'll see you at the end of the season.
All right, Nasty.
Have a good one, brother.
See ya.
Later.